everybody, and welcome to one of our new video features, which is called Unscripted.
Dun dun.
We have not written out anything that we are about to say, which is why some of it may not sound quite as smooth as it sometimes
Speak for yourself.
does.
Even when I write it down, it doesn't come out that smooth.
That's true.
But
So we're going to be talking about Evangelion 1.11, which we have both watched now on...
Which is the 11th in a series of...
No. It's not. You're wrong. Okay, for the, four of you who aren't already familiar, Evangelion was a TV show in the mid-1990s, and now its creator, Hideaki Anno, has decided to create Rebuild of Evangelion, which is four movies.
You forgot the other ones. The other movies he made that reinvented the series.
I didn't actually forget them. I was just skipping them because, frankly, we didn't really need to go into all of them. But now you know that there were other movies as well, including End of Evangelion, and what was one after that? I always forget the name. Something else.
End of Evangelion? The Rebuild?
End of Evangelion, and... No, Rebuild is the one, is what we're doing right now.
Death of Evangelion? The Life and Death?
Death and Rebirth.
Death and Rebirth.
Aha! We'll get there eventually. But the basic idea is it's four movies that are going to completely retell the story of the original TV series, and some things will be changed and some things will be the same.
So much for meeting here.
So for the, three of you left who don't know the basic story of Evangelion, would you like to go to this one?
Shit be whack. Kids be crazy, all hopped up on piloting suits and junk. Actually,
they're pretty down. They're not really very hyper. They're kind of like emo. Well, at least in the first movie. We don't have any hyper kids.
Angels, creatures referred to as angels, are attacking the world, or in particular, Neo Tokyo the Third, which is the third in the line of New Tokyos. I hate you so
Yay.
much. And anyway, the angels are attacking, and they're called angels despite being giant laser pus spewing things.
It's symbolic.
It's symbolic. And our last line of defense are these objects, these robotic suits called Evas, that can only be piloted by hormonal, developmentally challenged 15-year-olds.
Why did I come? Why did you?
The main one, of course, is Shinji, who is the son of the guy who's in charge of the whole program.
Gendo.
Shinji is helped out by Rei, who is banging Gendo.
That's what nerve's for, gentlemen.
Probably.
You said it wrong. You gotta lower your voice when you say Gendo.
Alright, so that's the story. The characters... Shinji is infamous for being whiny, but given the scenarios that he's put in, I actually, in 1.11 so far, it doesn't bother me all that much.
I gotta say, my biggest complaint is Shinji's classmates. Shinji's classmates in the film, I know they come back to play later in the story, but they're so... Cuts had to happen somewhere to make the movie into a movie-sized chunk instead of just redoing everything in the DVDs, but I really feel like what we lost was any sort of development of Shinji outside of a suit, outside of Nerve. You get 3 scenes with the kids, which are beat up the new kid, get saved by the new kid, and then make the new kid your best friend. These characters are going to come back into play, and I feel like they didn't do themselves any favors doing it this way.
My biggest problem was actually with Rei. I don't remember feeling this way about the TV series, but in the movie I had this total sense of Rei as that one girl in high school who's banging some 50-year-old dude.
No, I actually didn't know that chick. Oh, that wasn't a question posed to me?
Anyway, that girl in high school who's banging a 50-year-old dude, and she thinks that it's making her more mature and intelligent than all of her classmates, but really she's just fooling herself because, hello, she's being banged by a 50-year-old dude. That is how I really felt about Rei in Evangelion 1.11. She was, the only interactions we had with her so far were, the bitchiest ones. The character I like the best is actually Misato.
Ooh, yeah.
Alcoholism is funny.
Which part of that is crazy exactly?
I don't know.
She's the only one who actually gives a damn about anybody besides herself, and really everybody in Evangelion is incredibly self-obsessed.
Well, which is funny because she's still very self-absorbed. She's still, abusing these children to a degree, for her own self-gain.
But at least she, when something goes wrong, she's the first person to be like, let's try and get the kids out of there, instead of like, oh shit, we gotta save our equipment.
That was actually really interesting for me, because I feel like there's this strong parallel. She represents, Gendo represents the administration, the brains, the operation. You've got, what was her name? Researcher chick. Ritsuko represents the medical aspect, the science aspect, and she represents the military. She is the military liaison for that. She's a general or something.
She's the
major
battle
Kitsunagi.
strategist.
Yeah, and yet at the same time, she's the one advocating to save the kids.
That's it. Scrap the mission. Prioritize pilot safety.
It's like, okay, eject them.
It is pretty different from Avatar, the portrayal of the military. Like, let's kill everything because, oh god, we can't lose. But no, the problem with Misato was actually her voice. I did not listen to the English dub of the original TV series, so this was my first exposure to all these people as these characters. And most of them were okay. Shinji was appropriately whiny without being like, oh my god, I can't listen to any more of it. Rei was vaguely distant and mysterious. But Misato had these weird, Shatner-esque pauses.
Just one little word of praise. That's all it would take.
Right before her lines sometimes. Even when there weren't mouth flaps being flapped, so she didn't have to do it for the timing or anything. It was kind of weird.
Shinji, get me a beer out of the fridge. Watch out for Pen. He's a penguin, and he's awesome.
It was really more like, are you being picky? Was actually one of her lines.
Ow.
Sorry. It's a very small room in here.
Yes. And I'm way too close to you right now.
Any other comments about the dub?
The dub honestly didn't bother me too much. Now, granted, I don't know. It just didn't do the... I feel that the quality was there enough. Mm-hmm. I do agree that Misato seemed a little off. Everyone else, Rei was pretty vapid, but she doesn't say anything. She's pretty much a blank slate.
3 lines in the whole
You could have got the machine that did Wall-E to do the voice for Rei, and I wouldn't have noticed.
Wow. Where the movie is really at its best are the visuals. Blu-ray is only $5 more than the DVD, and it's so worth it here. If you have a Blu-ray player anyway, it probably wouldn't be so worth it if you don't.
Yeah, if you're just someone who needs, like me, who needs to prove why you own a Blu-ray player, this is the movie for you.
And it's not even that expensive. In large part because they delayed it so long from the Japanese release. I think the SRP for the Blu-ray is $34.98, and then the SRP for the DVD version is $29.98. So not a huge difference, and not super expensive as things go. And of course, the sales prices are a lot lower.
Prices shift, but when we were looking online yesterday, I saw that it was just $1.50 difference between the DVD and the Blu-ray, which is no-brainer.
Yeah, really. As long as you have a Blu-ray player.
Though, if you're an early adopter who picked up the DVD of 1.0 and then you're trying to see if you should upgrade to the DVD of 1.11, you're probably going to end up being a little disappointed. The special features exist as opposed to 1.0's lack of special features, but they're nothing to write home about. You get a couple little kind of building the rebuild trailers,
the book's
a couple
nice,
spots.
The illustration info whatever book thing, it was pretty. I flipped through it for about 10 seconds. It was kind of cool.
I watched all the commercial spots again of them doing Fly Me to the Moon by What's-Her-Face.
Okay, no, I'm not gonna go there. I would say in terms of who should be buying this, obviously I don't need to tell you super diehard Eva fans that you're gonna pick this up. You probably already have. I would say if you have never watched Eva, this is a great introduction to the series without having to go back and buy the entire TV series. But if you've seen Evangelion already and you're kind of lukewarm on the first movie, you're not sure if you really need it or not. I would say you might want to wait until 2.0 because 1.11 is so similar to the TV series, in some cases almost shot for shot. The changes that have been made are there, but they're very subtle. So in my opinion, if you are not, I'm getting there, if you're not a hardcore enough fan to recognize those tiny differences, in which case you're already buying it anyway, it might not be worth it.
Anyone who's seen Evangelion, really hyper-analyzed, is going to love this movie.
Yes.
The subtle changes, however subtle they are to add into a greater thing. It really boils down to those small moments that work better because of the slight accoutrements. You have the famous moment where what was it? When Gendo is burning his hands, which is why he wears the glasses, trying to save Rei. I need to do something with my hands. If I'm not putting bunny ears on you, it feels weird. But he's got a... That was a total lock of train of thought.
I'm sorry. Don't blame me.
Anyway, so he burns his hands, he has to wear the gloves, and you get that same sequence repeated later when Shinji is trying to save Rei from the same exact situation, trying to pry open the cage of the little entry suit plug thing.
Plug.
Yeah. And in doing so, you actually see him burn his hands ever so slightly. A repeated motif that comes into the film. In this one sitting.
Repeated that one time.
Once again, you also have it when the Evangelion burns its hands when it's holding the laser tentacles.
Yeah, but somebody who has seen the TV series but is not that hardcore fan may not notice those things and won't really necessarily fap all over that.
It's
the way
like...
some of us would.
Okay, granted, it's like saying, would you buy the first Gurren Lagann movie? There's a lot of rehash, not a lot of changes.
But there is a whole, towards the end, there's a big change there. Visually, there's a big change. And actually, I'm not entirely sure I would recommend the Gurren Lagann movie to a half-hearted Gurren Lagann fan. Because the Gurren Lagann movie is really only exciting to people who are excited about Gurren Lagann and its over-the-topness to begin with.
Either way, this is the new package. This is the penultimate. If you need Evangelion fix, this is going to do it for you.
But it's Hideaki Anno, and it's Funimation, so it will come out again.
Indeed.
Definitely.
In the Dragon Box.
Following the script we laid out for these children 14 years ago, it's almost cruel.
All right, Do-On on a scale of 1 to 5?
I would give it a pretty solid 8. I don't think
That much of an endorsement on a 1 to 5 scale?
I thought it was 10. We originally talked about doing 10. He changed that, not me. I already had the number in my head. All right, then I guess I would give it a 4. It's very pleasant and enjoyable, for being about a bunch of fucked up, annoying people, and I definitely enjoyed watching it.
4.5. Loved it. Do want more. My only complaint is it ended right as I
really wanted 2.0.
Really wanted 2.0.
Yeah.
And the years I have been waiting for this movie, I have never felt that pang of, holy poop, I've got to watch 2.0.
Well, but that's kind of my point. If you're only watching it as the precursor to 1.11 and you are budget conscious, it's the difference between this and buying something completely new, I would say just wait for 2.0. Granted, it'll be a while, but you might be able to get more enjoyment out of something fresh.
Fair enough.
Which does not mean I didn't like the movie.
There was nipple.
There was nipple. Nipple makes everything good.
Nipple makes everything good.
That's what Dad called me here for, right? It's what you all want.